thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me this evening to talk about the coming Fun Day out the front that's happening on the 11th of July, midday 3 to 3. We're super excited to have RG2 Radio helping us with that, and we'll be linked. The idea is that we'll be linked across the community as households gather in their gardens or porches or balconies, wherever they are, that's theirs, their property, to celebrate outside this Fun Day. So it becomes kind of like a Fun Day out the front, garden party in the house, and we're hoping that in streets, possibly like you guys on your street, that there'll be several households who are participating in their gardens and connecting maybe across the fence with social distancing and stuff. So it's going to be a fun day, and a number of people, there are lots of people in the community who are putting their hands up to say, I want to be a street host, I want to help make this happen, I want to help my neighbours participate in this. And so our time together now is just to speak a little bit to that, what might that be like, because you will be street hosting for your street and facilitating in what we will hear is a really simple, relaxed way. So I'm just going to ask you, Sarah, how long have you lived in Whitley for?
Nearly 23 years, so most of my married life.
And you've done street parties in the past, haven't you?
Yeah, but the last few years we've done a street party, and then we did the VE Day party out the front.
That's brilliant. So we're kind of in a different sort of space here. It's not really a street party, but it's a similar sort of feel. But it's in your household, in your garden. So you guys did that a few weeks ago for VE. So as you're planning now for the Fun Day, love to hear from you, Sarah. Could you talk us through what sorts of things are you going to be doing in the lead up? And what sorts of things, what's the day going to look like for you as the street host?
So in the lead up, if you've never done this before, it is really good to get a buddy in your street. And so we've done it before, obviously, but still every time I door knock, I think it's really important not just to put something through a letterbox, but, hi, I'm Sarah from number whatever, we're having a street party, and to actually make eye-to-eye contact, to speak with people, build relationship. They're far more likely to come and be involved. And we had people in the past who were working, couldn't make it, but they still bought cakes, for example, which I don't think they would have done. They wouldn't have felt as involved if we hadn't actually knocked on the door and spoken to them. So I'll be doing that. We'll make some invitations to hand to people to just stick on their fridge with a fridge magnet. And I asked different people to get involved in things. And we did right from the beginning. And people in your street, there will be the ones who don't want to get involved, and that's fine. But the majority will actually want to be involved, and they'll want to help. And they'll be like, oh, we've got spare chairs, or well, we've got a gazebo, should we bring it? That kind of thing. So I'll be going around door knocking and asking people what they can bring, what do they want to contribute. We always have food contributed. We didn't obviously for the VE Day party because of germs, so I guess we won't this time, but we'll ask people to bring stuff. And then we always have like an icebreaker, so you can play like street bingo, which is just like a little sheet you make up, and there might be like 12 squares on it. Be like, find someone who can play the guitar, find someone who speaks more than one language, or find someone who loves Frozen. I don't know, so the children are involved as well. And we always have a quiz, and I get different people in the street to do a round. So we'll have a sports quiz, we always have a Reading or a Whitley round, tropical news things round, that kind of thing. And so different people are like, oh yeah, I'll do that. So that's what I will be doing, door knocking and getting people involved and asking them to do stuff. That's what it will look like in the lead up. And I'm a children's worker, so I love children, and I've got loads of props and things. So I always organise loads of games. We can't play with parachutes and stuff at the moment because of germs, so I'm going to see what I can organise. And then on the day, what one of my neighbours did for the VE Day party was she got some chalk and she went along our road and at 3 meters, every 3 meters she put a cross on the pavement, so that we all knew we could just put our chairs from that each household every 3 meters, and we were a really safe distance apart. So we'll be doing that. We live on a close, so we all, about 10 to the time it started, we all went and moved our cars as well, so we could see the people opposite us, the other side of the road. Obviously that's harder if you live in a big street like Northumberland Avenue or something. So we'll be doing that on the morning. We also have some bunting, like street party, we'll have bunting. So I made some while I was watching the Queen's speech on VE Day, literally triangles of different coloured, but well, I had to colour some in, so I didn't have any blue. But yeah, so we will make some bunting or buy some bunting, and we'll be out there stringing up our bunting. And we have music at the VE Day things where we also have music at our parties through someone's phone. Yeah, so we'll organise games and things like that, and it'll be a busy morning, but it'll be really worthwhile, and loads of people will want to get involved and let people be involved, because then they really own it as well, and it'll be loads more fun.
Yeah,
I think that's my lead up in my morning.
yeah, that's great, thank you. And look, have you thought specifically about how to do some of these things specifically with the social distancing, like some of the games and things like that? Have you got any thoughts yet on that? You may not yet, and maybe we can come back nearer the time and see where you've got to with that. But love to hear what you're thinking at the moment.
So far, I've already written a reading round for the quiz. So a quiz is really good if you can do that. A bit more difficult with social distancing, because normally we're much closer together on the green. But we do have a microphone that plugs into something as well, like we've got one of those, so we can use that normally. So a quiz, definitely easily done in household groups at a social distance. And because we live in a small close, like I said, we can move our cars. Definitely think some races up and down the road, even if they're really simple, like a hopping race, hop to something and then jump to the next object and then skip to the next. Something like that you can do. It's really simple. You don't need anything to do that. Egg and spoon, you can just have a bit of Lego or something on a spoon. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be an egg or anything fancy. So that's as far as my thinking has got so far, I'm afraid.
No, that's great. This is all so new to us. Yeah, you've had a kind of practice run with BE Day, which is fantastic. But yeah, we'll be learning together, and on the day we'll be, yeah, I reckon we'll be great. So now, one of the key things about our fun day is that the atmosphere, we work really hard on Rabson's Rec. We work really hard to make the atmosphere really, really sweet. And the reality is, though, when you get people in one place, and things can get irritable and things can get a bit tense between people, especially we've all been locked in our houses for so long. Some of us literally haven't been able to get out, but we're spending so much more time in confined spaces than we're used to. And so, we're going to be moving out into the gardens, but it's still going to be a confined space. Do you have any tips for anybody who is, either doing the household thing themselves, or a street host who's kind of encouraging their neighbours? Do you have any tips on keeping the atmosphere and the culture on the street or in your household sweet and positive?
I think one thing is, if people get fed up, they can just go home. Like, it's much easier on your street, if I'm being real, than down at the Rec. But I think, this is my opinion, that communication is always really key. So if everyone knows they're invited, and if everyone knows there are going to be chalk crosses or whatever you decide to do in your street, and everyone knows what time to come out and what's expected of them, I feel like that really helps people kind of ease into it. They know what's expected of them. They know where they've got to be at a certain time. Making sure there's things like, in previous years, it was really hot 2 summers ago, wasn't it? And we had some gazebos, because we have some octogenarians on our road, and they needed to be sat down, and they needed to have gazebos over them. I think that's really important, that people are physically comfortable as well. So as far as you can do that. And then you need a few people who will mingle. So I know there's social distancing, but you can talk to someone from 2 meters away. So myself and like our opposite neighbours are really good at this as well. So we didn't stay with one group. So a lot of people just bought their chairs and they sat in that place, and then they sat there and they sat there. But we and some other people just went from group to group to group to group. And I think that links people in, and everyone. So if you're just sat on your own outside your front garden and no one talks to you, that's really upsetting, isn't it? So make sure there are people who are really chatty and who will mingle from group to group, so that everyone feels really welcomed and valued. And like I say, the games will just bring people together a little bit. That's what I can think of.
No, that's great. That's gold. Thank you, Sarah. And then lastly, at our fun days, we often have this motto, and our kids club and clubs and other programs that we run, we have this motto, and it's build people up, help people grow, because people matter. And it's this whole idea that people, every individual is of intrinsic worth, and we need to treat each other that way. We're about building people up, not tearing people down. We're about helping people grow and just relax into who they really are, and maybe even tap into some of their some potential, maybe learn something new, or whatever it is. Just celebrate who they are, who each other is. And I just wondered whether you have any examples of how you would embody or express that and encourage those things, those three things in your garden party in fun day out the front.
Okay, I guess the things I can think of are only really simple things, but like asking other people to be involved when you door knock. If you're hosting it, don't like be bossy and be really in control, because it really develops other people, and they know their worth. When you go, oh yeah, can you bring your phone and play music? I mean, I can do that, but actually if someone else is offering to do it, or bring their chairs or their gazebo or whatever, just I think that really values people and builds them up, that actually I'm really needed, I'm really wanted to be a part of this. That would be one thing. And again, it's just the mingling and talking to everyone and being really encouraging and positive in language. And just so there are a few of us who kind of lead the way in our street, I guess, and we make sure that as people arrive, one of us goes, hi, welcome to the street pie, it's great that you could come. So just being really welcoming from the moment people arrive, they know that they're wanted there, that we want them there. That's not very much, but they're the main thing I can think of.
That is brilliant, Sarah. Look, that has been just so helpful, Sarah, and we think there is so much gold in there for anybody who is wanting to have a go at facilitating, encouraging their neighbours to take part in the fun day on the 11th of July. It's not going to be a classical street party. It is going to be a bit strange because we're going to be in our gardens and stuff, but we can still connect, just as you have shared, Sarah. You can mingle with 2 meters distancing. It's still important to look after our people and encourage them and to involve people as much as possible, whilst encouraging households to stay in their gardens and to keep safe. As street hosts, we can do so much to create a really positive and sweet culture that will last onwards. And in fact, just as a final thing, Sarah, how has so you guys have gathered over the last few years, gathered your street in different ways, and in this season it's been different, but you've still been connecting and gathering. How has this affected life on your street?
It has really changed our street. So everyone on our street is really nice and really friendly. but you kind of feel like you can only go so far. Just like, oh, hi, how are you? But then having the street parties, people have got to know each other. And I would say, don't be disappointed about the people who don't come. Just really embrace the ones who do. Not everyone on my street comes. I think we have great street parties. Not everyone comes. And the first year I was a bit disappointed by that, but now I just think, oh, that's fine. That's fine. The people who come are like the core people, the really friendly people of the street. And we all chat now. You know, I come home from anywhere in my car, and I always know I'm going to spend a while chatting outside my car because someone's walking by or they're getting out of their car, and that didn't happen before. We've had a WhatsApp group that we set up for during COVID time. And it was just so easy. Again, we door knocked, but it was just so easy because we already have relationship with people. So we've all shopped for everyone's like, oh, I'm off to ours, does anyone want anything? And that kind of thing. And we've all said we want to keep that up after coronavirus because it's just been such a brilliant, encouraging, supportive group to be part of. So I just feel like the street is friendlier. Everyone has got everyone's back. We all want to help each other. We had a new family move in a few weeks ago. One of my neighbours went round. I hadn't noticed they'd moved in, to be honest. And she was like, oh, can they join the WhatsApp group? And so I put them on. And then everyone's like, oh, welcome to the street. Welcome to the street. And it's just been what an amazing welcome to a new street. So, it's really changed the atmosphere of our street. I really just say, please do it. If you're kind of thinking, oh, I'd quite like to, please do it. It will really make a difference.
That's so great. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Sarah. We're going to wrap up right there and call it a day. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a fantastic day on the fun day, and looking forward to maybe popping around to your street and seeing how it's.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. Why don't you join us in building a life-giving, hope-filled culture by building each other up, helping each other grow, because quite simply, every single person, without exception, is of infinite value and worth. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe and click like on YouTube, to follow us on Facebook, and do leave your comments below as well. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you around. Bye.